Let's take a look at GameStop. So this was post January 29th. That's last Wednesday. I did mention that much tighter fractals before FOMC begins. Expect more pullback, right? This Friday. And then I think they actually did had a pullback, and then Monday crash, right? So I had some put positions, and I had some profits here. So that's some sort of a proof receipt, because some people might say like, hey, you never actually right, and there you go, that's the proof. So I bought a put position expiring February 7th, and then went up more than 100%. So this was actually a test for me, whether the fractals, if the GameStop is actually tracking the same fractals that I'm tracking. So this was kind of confirmation. So it was good. So now let's look at what happened today, and then what are we going to see entire week and next week. So this is, I think, my post today. So we'll most likely will repeat the same fractals from last week for the next 10 days. I'm expecting 26.6, yeah, so basically 26.6 and $27.30 to fill the gap. So there's a gap here, so I'm going to explain, I'm going to show you after that. And one final pullback between next from February 10th, because there's a China tariff effects on US. That's the Monday. And CPI is February 12th. So we don't know yet that what kind of result will bring, but because there's two major events going to happen next week, I think I think this might be the final kind of what do you say, like final events before GameStop rally kicks in and AMC, all that stuff. So yeah, I don't know. That's just my speculation. But we don't know. We don't know yet. So I still gotta see what they're gonna do this week. That's something I have to track. But for now, this is kind of what I have it here, which is this one. So let me explain what I'm seeing here. So in a bigger picture, I'm gonna show you the bigger picture later, but when you look at this, how they left the gap down and then come up, and then they fill the gap, right? And after that they do the same fractals here, right? So this is RK tweet, right? Gap up happened and then pull back, right? They fill the gap, right? There's no RK tweet or whatever, but it slowly moved back up, and then they gap down, right? There was a whole tariff event because the US, the Trump put a tariff on the Canada and Mexico, but suddenly they pull it back, right? So I think Trump is kind of like it's not, I'm not saying manipulating the market, but I think he's forming the market, and market makers maybe using those market events to creating some fractals, maybe, but anyway, so it's possible we could see. So I just brought the same fractals from this green box here. So I brought the same fractals here in the blue fractals. As you can see, the way it dropped, left the gap down, it's exactly the same pattern. Also push back up, fill partial gap, and then come down, which is same kind of fractals. And now we are kind of going through this area, so we're gonna start to see this thing push up tomorrow, this level, to fill the gap here, and then even more to touch this triangle, a large triangle formation, the line. And then next Monday or Friday, I think this will do the same kind of pattern here one more time. If not, we have to see how things gonna play out. So that's one scenario I'm looking at. The second scenario, and so so Monday, China tariff effects on US, CPI, things like that. So there's a major events happening. So maybe there might be one more time to pull this back down, you know. So that's one scenario. The second scenario will be, do I have the second scenario here? Oh no, it's not. Okay, so I actually show you here. So yeah, so let me show you a little bit tighter version on this one. So this is the same fractals as this one, you know what I'm saying? I brought the same fractals here, and you know, interestingly, it's, you know, perfectly matching, you know, the pattern here, right? So they're repeating the same cycle. They're just, you know, doing the same shit. So we hit the bottom, push up, pull back down. Didn't do much price action, but they did kind of something like this here, where they let me just draw a box here. They did just kind of making weird pattern here. So I think that's what they did this time, right? So had some, you know, go up and down, and then some pullback, and then boom, push up, right? So I think that's what they did today. So I'm expecting tomorrow, when market opens, I think pre-market they're gonna do this, right? Go up and down, you know, do, you know, some weird shit. But moving forwards, when the market open, I think they're gonna shoot up, right? And then try to fill this gap. I have a calls option. I have a calls at 26.50. So you know, if this thing touch, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna exit, and then I have a two calls, which is one expire this week, one expire next week. I have a same call, so maybe I'll exit tomorrow for this week, and for next week, that expiring next week, I'll maybe hold it to maybe, you know, going up this much. I don't know. Maybe I'll wait if I notice that they're moving, making same fractals. I might wait a little bit, and then maybe wait for this time, and then enter more here, adding more positions for next the options, call options for expiring next week. So anyway, so I'm kind of doing this one now, and then maybe if, you know, if mimicking same fractals, and then once this thing hits on Friday here and start to pulling back down, maybe I'm gonna adding maybe some put positions, do the same thing, you know. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here, and that will be the, I think, the final bottom, which is next Tuesday or Monday, and then, you know, and then I think the next confirmation we gotta see is this thing here, where this thing suddenly pops. And my title today is Don't Ever Doubt Roaring Kitty Fractals. And I think I don't know if I kind of shared this one before, but so I made a post that I found some fractals, right, where I think they might be using this Roaring Kitty fractals, you know what I mean? So you know, this is first confirmation. You know, there's a lot of confirmation, you know, it start to making sense. Even the puts I made, a lot of things are happening. So, you know, I made this post on January 20th, right, which is about how many weeks ago was it? Like maybe 3 weeks ago, that I found this fractals, and I was like, shit, you know. And the reason I found this fractals was I was tracking both 2020 and 2024 that RK made, right? I basically said RK made because Roaring Kitty got in April, right? And then, you know, rally happened in May. So I think there's a reason why he got in at the time, you know. And then he create that fractals for a reason, you know, which means that there's a possible in the future that he could reuse that fractals, you know what I mean? So I think after I noticing that, you know, there's pullback happening way more than 2020 cycles, I immediately changed my thoughts. Okay, what if maybe, you know, Roaring Kitty might recycle his fractals even bigger? So I brought it in, and that's how I look at it. And then I've been seeing this for last 3 weeks. There's a lot of confirmation that it made, and even that helps me made some money from put options. So everything starts to making sense. So now the timing is really important here, which is when this thing's gonna pop, right? So this was May fract, so this is April, May, right? After March earnings drop, accumulate, shoot up, but this was happened extremely fast. Right now, they're making way bigger. We are just right there. We just did this for entire month from last August to now. We just did this. Isn't that crazy? So we just have this kind of explosive upside. And then after that, there's a bit of a sideway as well, right? So right now, basically the algo is extremely slow, but they're taking way longer time. But the way it's moving is like they want to make a bigger run, right? So let's say from here to here, this box, they just create this one. Isn't that crazy? So from here to here, it went up 16%, right? So from here to here, it roughly went up like 60%. So this is 16%, this is 60%. So if you calculate that, that's about 3 times, right? Almost 4 times, but so they're making bigger run here. So I think the rally kicks in, I think, in March, and I've been kind of hinting that on Twitter, and I think I don't know what's gonna happen here, to be honest, guys. If you see this, then you're gonna see a fucking crazy squeeze here. So that's why I'm watching these things really carefully, and I'm testing some options, short-term options here and there, just to see if this is correct. So let me show you something, because the also very important thing is the timing, right? The speed of algo, right? So some area is like slow, some area is like fast. Like the way they drop it is like so fast that I don't know if we are actually going through this one or here. So that's why I'm talking about there might be a 2 scenario, okay? So the first scenario is the one that I just showed you. The second scenario is if let's say we actually bottom it out, then we need to see this pop this week, okay? If we don't see this pop up to $29, basically we're gonna do a one more pullback this week, right? So that's kind of important thing, right? So so this thing hits here. So I just brought this only this fractals just to play around with the speed of algo, right? So I brought only this downside fractals just to kind of adjust things much more easily, right? Yeah, so when you look at this one, let's see. Fuck, it's so busy, right? So this thing come down. They did some like weird actions here, but I do think that's kind of right there. And then from this one, there's an Arcade tweet. Remember, Arcade posted a video about some 2000. What was it? Was it 2001 or something? Yeah. So there was like a video about like small dog waiting outside in front of the restaurant and things like that. So he posts something like that, create a pop, gap up, and then and immediately fill that gap, right? So that's kind of what he's making there. So he's intentionally, in my opinion, not financial advice, but he's intentionally creating those kind of things to making similar fractals here, in my opinions. So my question is, but some area is like very slow, right? Some area is fast, so it's hard to track. But I think we are kind of going through this one, so we might see a pop and then do one more pushback. I think that might be it. If not, we are maybe this one, and then we have to see this thing pop. So it's either here that we're gonna do a little bit push up and then push down, right, by next week. So next week will be the final bottom if that happened. And I think that it's possibility that we could see one more bottom here, right? One more pullback here you know what I mean? And then kind of going into this kind of final, the wedge, right? The tip of the wedge kind of period, and then this thing suddenly pops up to this level, like, large pop up to $28 or 20, something like that, and then drop, and then do another pop, drop, do another pop, like, like a thumping sound. And that's the three confirmation that we want to see. And that once those three confirmation is done, then this thing is about to rally. So I think as for me, I think I'm gonna continue to track those things. I think the timing wise, there's a lot of guys giving me actually. There's some guys send me some messages and they share their tinfoils, and maybe I can share that with you guys today. 1 second. I'm gonna keep them as a private. So let's start with this guy. So I was actually asked some of the guys here. So I've been talking to these guys, and then some guys are sharing that. I think this guy was kind of interesting. He said the 422 is not a meme. So let me share that with you today. 1 second. So remember, there's a McDonald's. They release ice cream cone, and then he said that, and then RC actually posted this one, 2020 February 24th, and he's saying that that's a 4-year, 22 days difference, and that's kind of interesting. So McDonald's ice cream post. So what basically this guy is saying is that it was a difference of 4 years and 22 days. Okay, so he's saying 2025. So the tweet, the ice cream cone tweet from McDonald's was 2025, 25 this year, right? So from 2025, and then the Ryan Cohen posted this one in 2021. So if you minus that will give you 4, and so that basically saying it's a 4-year. And then this was posted on February 24th, and then McDonald's ice cream cone posted on the 2nd, so which means it's 22. So if he add those 4-year at 22, that will give you something around March 18. Okay, March something, mid-March, and that's also gives me somewhere here, which is somewhere in the rally phase, tip of the rally phase. So I don't know, that's really interesting, so thanks for that, sharing those kind of stuff. What is this? 13G. Okay. There's one more guy. He's talking about how he saw my TA, and then he has some tinfoil, so he's checking a lot of FTDs, datas, and Bollinger Bands and swap theory, all that kind of other stuff. But he noticed that you guys remember this like a Lego page? So this was posted, I think, 2021 after like Squeeze, or 2022. I don't remember the year. So basically, he saw this, and then he was kind of going back and seeing all this, and then maybe he saw my live stream and talking about it's gonna take more than a year, and then he said, "Oh yeah, that kind of makes sense because that's what he saw this one as well." I think he's kind of connected dots. So let's say this giant one was 2021 January. This was February March rally after the FTD squeeze. And then now we have this one, this giant one, which happened last year in May after RK came back. Now we are expecting seeing this one, which is the June rally, and then after that we're gonna see another one, which could happen in next year, early next year. That will be 2026. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here as well. So we'll see. Like maybe this might be it, or I don't know, maybe this was the hints, from back then, so who knows. So yeah, there's a few people share those kind of stuff, so thanks very much for doing that. So yeah, I think this month is extremely important month. Especially the option chains are extremely cheap as well. So a lot of people might be wondering what kind of option is good. I have no idea, to be honest. So, but what I will say is, um, I'm looking for March. Yeah, I'm actually looking at the March one, and also I'm I'm looking at a June or July because that's when the giant squeeze phase could happen. But I don't know if this will be triggered by merger acquisitions. So I think it's yeah we have to do I have to think carefully about what kind of option I have to buy, right? So for sure I want to buy the end of March or April. I think that will be the good safe bet. But in terms of the final squeeze rally, final squeeze phase, um, I'm curious if this will be triggered by a merger or this will be triggered by some sort of a just events, like AMC entering the squeeze phase. So maybe it's just a cycle event. But anyway, it's really up to you guys to make a decisions. And I think the shares are definitely safer bets. The reason I say that is because if they ended up doing merger and they kick this in, and the option chains will be gone, right? It will be just, yeah, like, yeah. I do remember that. Let's say the option chain is out the money. It will most likely that it will get wiped out. That's kind of how I understand. So yeah, just be careful with the this area. I don't know. Maybe it could be just triggered by just squeeze phase. Who knows, right? But that's just kind of what I expecting. So I'm expecting a giant rally. So I'm curious what is the trigger for this one.